Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I didn't expect marriage to feel like walking into a room after the music has stopped. The chairs are still there, the lights are on, but something essential is missing. I'm Daniel, 38, project manager, predictable life, predictable habits. I leave for work at 7, come home at 6, kiss my wife on the cheek, ask about her day. Or at least I used to. Emma and I met in our late 20s. She worked in marketing, bright, confident, always surrounded by people. I was quieter, more reserved, the kind of man who listens before he speaks. She told me she liked that I felt steady. For years we fit. Not perfectly, but honestly. Weekends meant coffee runs, long walks, lazy Sundays tangled together on the couch. We weren't dramatic. We were solid. Things shifted slowly, the way cracks do before you notice them. Emma started coming home later, always tired, always distracted. Her phone became an extension of her hand. Conversations shortened. Touches softened, then faded. I told myself it was stress. Her company had restructured, new leadership, longer hours. I adjusted. I cooked more. I asked less. I waited. One Thursday evening, I leaned in to kiss her when she walked through the door. She turned her head, not sharply, just enough to avoid my lips. I laughed it off, tried again, light and playful. That's when she sighed and said it. Don't. I've kissed plenty at work today. She said casually, like mentioning traffic or weather. No explanation, no humor, just a statement. I froze, smile half-formed, mind scrambling to understand. Kiss plenty. At work. She saw my expression and rolled her eyes. It's part of the job, she added. Clients, co-workers, social stuff. I'm touched out. Can we not make this a thing? Then she walked past me and disappeared into the bedroom. I stood there longer than I should have. My chest felt hollow, like air had been let out of something important. I didn't shout. I didn't follow her. I cleaned the kitchen, folded the mail, moved through the evening on autopilot. That night, she turned away from me in bed, phone glowing between her hands. After that, the words replayed in my head on a loop. Kiss plenty at work. I tried to rationalize it. European clients. Cheek kisses. Office culture. But none of those explanations explained why she couldn't stand my mouth on hers. None of them explained why she flinched when I touched her arm, or why intimacy had become a negotiation instead of a given. I asked her about it a few days later, carefully. She shrugged. You're overthinking it. Why do you always do that? That was her favorite defense. Make my confusion sound like a flaw. I apologized, even though I didn't know for what. The silence between us grew heavier. Weeks passed. I paid attention. Patterns emerged. Late meetings that didn't match calendar invites. Sudden work trips she never mentioned until the night before. New clothes, new perfume. Confidence sharpened to a point that no longer included me. At home, she treated me like furniture. Useful, present, invisible. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed certainty, not emotion. I needed to understand the shape of the truth before touching it. So I started listening more than speaking, watching without reacting. I learned when she left early, when she came home flushed, energized in ways she never was with me anymore. One night, sitting alone at the kitchen table, her words finally settled into something solid. She hadn't pushed me away because she was tired. She had pushed me away because whatever she was getting elsewhere felt more important. That realization didn't make me angry. It made me calm. I stopped reaching for her. I stopped asking questions she wouldn't answer. I focused on my work, my routines, my body. I opened a separate savings account and didn't tell her. I reread our marriage agreement, line by line, noticing things I had once trusted blindly. I wasn't planning revenge in the dramatic sense. No shouting, no scenes. What I was planning was distance, precision, an ending she wouldn't see coming, because she was too busy believing I'd always be there, waiting politely for scraps of affection. And that belief was about to become her biggest mistake. I let her think nothing had changed, Because the quietest shifts are the most dangerous, and when truth finally arrives, it never knocks. It simply opens the door slowly, silently. The shift in me went unnoticed, which only confirmed how absent she already was. Emma mistook my silence for acceptance. She filled it with her routines, her excuses, her confidence. I watched her move through the house, like a guest who knew she wouldn't be questioned. She talked about work more openly now, careless, as if my interest had expired along with my affection. One evening, she left her laptop open on the dining table. An incoming message lit the screen. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. The preview was enough. A name I didn't recognize. A joke too familiar. A timestamp that matched the nights. She came home glowing and unreachable. That was the moment doubt turned into confirmation. Not rage. Not heartbreak. Clarity. I waited. Patience became my strongest weapon. I met with a lawyer during lunch breaks, asked questions quietly, listened carefully. I learned what silence could protect and what words could destroy. I documented everything. Dates, times, patterns. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was preparing to leave cleanly, decisively, without begging for explanations I already had. Emma noticed the changes eventually. "You've been distant," she said one night, not accusing, just curious. I smiled and told her work was busy. The irony didn't escape me. She accepted the answer easily. It was the same one she'd fed me for months. That night, she reached for me out of habit more than desire. I let her touch my arm. I didn't pull her closer. A week later, I told her I had a conference out of town. It wasn't a lie. I just wasn't attending it. I used the time to move my essentials into storage, change passwords, and reroute accounts. I left the house exactly as it was. Familiar, safe, deceptively normal. When I came back, I waited 2 days. Then, on a quiet Sunday morning, I sat across from her at the kitchen table. She was scrolling through her phone, barefoot, relaxed. I asked her one question. "Who is Mark?" She didn't deny it. Her eyes widened for half a second, then hardened. "I knew you'd overreact eventually," she said. That was her confession. I told her I was done. Not angrily, not dramatically. I explained that I had already filed, that I'd already separated finances, that I would be moving out permanently by the end of the week. Her voice rose. Mine didn't. She accused me of being cold. I reminded her of the night she told me not to kiss her. She went quiet then. I didn't wait for apologies. I didn't ask for remorse. I stood, took my jacket, and left. The house felt lighter without me in it. I slept well that night, deeply, without tension pressing against my ribs. Weeks later, she tried to call, then text, then email. I responded through my lawyer, just as calmly as I'd left. Mutual friends took sides. Some understood, some didn't. I didn't explain myself. The truth doesn't need defending. Payback wasn't about punishment. It was about reclaiming myself, about refusing to stay where affection had become a privilege instead of a promise. Emma thought she'd already replaced me emotionally long before I left. What she didn't expect was how thoroughly I'd already replaced her in my future. The last thing she ever said to me in person was that she never thought I'd actually go through with it. I told her that was the problem. She never thought I would choose myself. And that was the final kiss she never got to give.